Hey, hello. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for coming today. So appreciate that. And also, I wanted to say thank you for all the organizers of this event. My name is Sergei Kriger. I'm a front-end developer at the company called Shudder. It's a web agency in Germany with main office in Hamburg and offices in Berlin, Frankfurt, Munich, where I'm from, and also we have office in Prague in Czech Republic. And we are making web applications for the clients like Allianz, Audi, BMW, and many others. And among front-end development, I'm very, very interested in the web accessibility topic, and this is something we are going to talk about today. And we will start from a very simple thing. Let's take a look at a page lifecycle, but not a page lifecycle as we developers usually see it, but how would our users see it? Let's imagine that we are our users, and we would like to see a page, any page from the internet. What do we need for that? Well, first of all, we need a browser, right? Then we need to type a URL in the address bar, and then we hit Enter. And for us, browser goes somewhere, takes a page, brings it back to the browser window, and at some point we can see it. And after some time, browser, when all the images, fonts, styles, scripts are loaded, browser will find a way to notify us, hey, you wanted to see a page, I brought it to you, my job is done here. And this is really nice. But what is the chance that this page will stay exactly the same as it is now until we want to close this page? Well, to be honest, chances are really, really low. Some websites at some point will kindly offer us to log in or register. Or maybe we will get some notifications or even private messages, or maybe suddenly we will see a lot of advertisement banners which will disturb us reading content, or maybe we will see a cookie notification, or maybe a model with some other information, or maybe if we are lucky ones, we will see a customer support chart. And look at these elements. They don't appear on the page just immediately after the page was loaded, right? They appear after some time, or maybe even after some user's action. And I call these elements asynchronous elements because they simply appear on the page asynchronously. And the thing is that it doesn't matter if we as developers like these elements or don't like these elements. I personally don't, because they really disturb us, at least disturb me reading the content. It doesn't matter, because these elements, they help customers to sell stuff, they help customers to promote themselves, and this is our reality today. Nobody will easily get rid of these elements, but we can do as developers two things. We can learn how to make these elements properly, and also we can learn how to make these elements convenient and accessible for our users. And what do I mean by accessible? Well, let's take a look at this components from a little bit different point of view. What if we don't see a screen? What will happen? Well, nothing, because we will not get any information. When a visual element appears on the screen, it's a signal for us to check it, to read the content, to get the information, right? But now there is no way to do so. So that means that we created components which are really nice and good to use when you see a screen, and it's not possible to use them if you don't see the screen. That's a thing. That's a problem. And here you can ask me, hey, why would we turn off the screen? Because usually we don't do that. And you're correct. Usually we don't do that. But there is a big group of people who use the web exactly the same way, exactly this way. They don't see the screen. They use a keyboard a lot, and they use a special software called a screen reader. These are blind users, people with visual impairments, and all the people who, for some reasons, cannot see the screen. And in this talk, I will show you two simple techniques how to make these asynchronous components accessible for screen reader users. And we will start from a very simple components. It's a like button. I'm pretty sure that all of you know how a like button works, right? You can click a like button, and it changes the state. Now it's active, and that means that we liked something. Easy. And then we can click it again, it's inactive again, and that means that we unliked something. But what if we click at this button and nothing happens? What should we think here? I don't know. Maybe we need to click again, nothing, again, nothing. Or maybe we lost the connection and now nothing works here. Or maybe something happened on the website and we didn't even know about that. And here we came to the very important thing. As developers, we need to inform our users about everything that happens on the website, about everything. We want our users to feel comfortable on our websites, right? And they need to know everything, either good or bad. The site should be really transparent for them. And let's check how we can improve our like button. Look, I click a button. It gets active, and then we see a notification that says, hey, you liked something. And now we are 100% sure that we did what we wanted. I click a button again, and now I see a new notification which says you unliked it. And this is really nice. And here I have to say that this particular pattern, maybe it's not that important to show users that we liked something or unliked something, just for an example. But the thing is, it's nice to inform users about what's happening. But now, let's imagine ourselves as a screen reader users. And as a screen reader users, we don't supposed to see the screen, right? We will use another software for that. So I turn off the light, and now I will use my screen reader in order to interact with this like button.
VoiceOver on Chrome, time control and web accessibility.
With the tab key, I will jump to the button.
Like button application.
And then I will click a button with the screen reader.
Press like button.
And screen reader told that I clicked a button or pressed a button. But does that really mean that I really liked something? Look, I turn on the light and I see that no, nothing happened. Error appeared and now just didn't work. But as a screen reader users, I didn't even know about that, right?
VoiceOver off.
So our job now is to learn how we can inform screen reader users about notifications and some asynchronous things. And the key point here is to use a live region technique. Live regions is a set of HTML attributes which allow you somehow to control what screen reader is pronouncing. The most popular and the most common live region attribute is area live, which can have 3 values: polite, assertive, or off. And we will cover all these 3 values a little bit later, but now let's actually see how we can make this working. First of all, we need to create an empty component, empty element. It can be div, like in my example, it can be any other elements you want. And then we need to add to this element area live attribute with the value polite, for example. And this will be a signal for a screen reader to start listening to this element, and then, at the moment when we want to inform screen reader users about anything, we can simply update a content of this element with a JavaScript, for example, and it's gonna work. Let's test our like button. I turn on the light, start my screen reader.
VoiceOver on Chrome.
Focus on the button.
Like button application.
And click it.
Press like button. You liked it.
And what happened now? I clicked a button, and then after some time when like this actually happened, screen reader told that you liked something. So we displayed a visual notification. We can see it. And also we notified screen reader, we forced screen reader to pronounce something for us. And this is really nice.
VoiceOver off.
With this simple technique, we can do really a lot. Now let's discuss shortly about different values of area live attribute. There are 3 values. Polite, assertive, and off. And the easiest one of these 3 is off, because off literally does nothing. An element without area live attribute and an element with area live and off, they are the same. Screen readers are simply ignoring them. The next value is a polite value. And this is really nice to use this value with the area live attribute, and I will demonstrate you why. I will show you an example now, and then I will explain you a little bit more how it works. I start my screen reader.
VoiceOver on Chrome.
Focus on the button.
Area live polite button application.
And we'll click it now.
Press area live polite button. My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Hi, you just got 1,000 subscribers.
And what happened now? I clicked a button and I triggered a polite notification. And then I started reading the text after the button. And what happened? When screen reader was reading, somewhere in the middle of this text, a new notification came. But what screen reader did, it found a place where it would be possible to stop without disturbing users. In this case, it's the end of the text. And then screen reader read until that point, and then he informed users about this notification. Yes, there was a small delay here, but it doesn't matter in this example because this notification is not that important, right? It just told us that, yeah, you just got 1,000 subscribers. If it's after a delay, nobody will care. And also, in addition to polite value, there is another value ARIA Live attribute can have.
ARIA Live assertive.
It's assertive value. And now we will see how that works, and I'll explain you a little bit more in details.
ARIA Live assertive button. Press ARIA Live assertive button. My mom always said life was service is unavailable. Please try again later.
And what happened in this example, we clicked a button and triggered an assertive notification. And then we started reading the text. And then, once our super important notification came, we stopped screen reader reading whatever it was reading and forced it to pronounce whatever we want.
Voiceover off.
I also call this way of notifying users an assertive way of notifying users. Actually, I would not recommend you to use it a lot, but in these cases, and today we will cover one more case where we can use ARIA Live with value assertive. So I would not recommend to use it a lot because it really makes user experience a little bit worse than it could be. As I already said, live regions is not only about ARIA Live. There are like a list of attributes we can use in order to control screen reader. We will not cover them all today. Instead, I would recommend you to check out the article written in the MDN website called ARIA Live Regions, where you can find a lot of information. And also, even though this live region technique is quite simple, there are a couple of things to know. First of all, screen readers are different. Browsers are different, and operating systems are different. And all these combinations, they don't work exactly in the same way. And sometimes, in order to ARIA Live to be working, we need to add some other attribute. For example, ARIA Live with value polite should be combined with a role and value status. ARIA Live assertive should be used with a role and value alert. And in this case, we will cover this code will be working in most of the browsers and screen readers combinations. The next thing, of course, we can do everything manually, and it's not that complicated, but in addition to this browser compatibility case, there are some other edge cases, and there's this nice tool called On-Demand Live Region, created by Hayden Pickering. It covers all those cases, and I would really recommend you to use this tool, and our code will look like that. We create an instance of ARIA Live, assertive or polite, and then once we want to update screen reader with something, we will simply run a method say and pass text we want to screen reader to pronounce. All right, now let's take a look at another example. Let's imagine that our website supports a private messaging, and we would like to send an email.
Voiceover on Chrome.
We already know that accessibility is really important. We already used a live region technique in this example. Now let's see how it works.
Send email button application.
I clicked a button.
Press send email button. Email was successfully sent.
And what happened now? Once I clicked a button, email was sent, and then we displayed a notification, and then we used a live region technique to force screen reader to pronounce a confirmation text, which already makes this component accessible, right? But if you look at notification, you will see that in addition to confirmation text, there is something else there. There are 3 buttons. Undo button, really important button. If you send an email by mistake, you can quickly cancel it. View message button, and also close notification button. And those buttons give our users some more options they can do on the website, right? But screen reader users didn't even know that these options exist, because screen reader didn't tell us about that. And even if they knew that these buttons are there inside the notification, it takes some time for screen reader users to find an element on the page. navigate to that element, find those buttons, and click them. And if they didn't have time to find this element until this notification closed, because usually these notifications, they don't stay forever on the page. They appear, stay for some seconds, and then they disappear. And if screen reader users didn't have time to find these notifications on the page, they lost a possibility to use those buttons. And this is really bad. And our job now is to fix that.
Voiceover off.
And here we came to the next very important thing. Asynchronous components, such as notifications, banners, etc., they not only bringing new information to our users, they can also offer users to some options to perform. And as developers, we need to make sure that all the options, potential options for our users which we have on the website, they need to be accessible for all the users, including screen reader users. And the key point here is to use a browser focus. How it works? Once we move a focus from one element to another, most of screen readers, by default, will pronounce all the content of these new focused elements. And this is really nice. We'll be using this feature. Let's take a look how our send email button works now.
Voiceover on Chrome.
I started my screen reader, focused on the button.
Send email button application.
And I will click it.
Press send email button. Email was successfully sent. Undo view message. Close notification.
And what happened now? Once we displayed a notification in the browser window, we moved a focus from a button to that notification. Look at this pink border around notification, this focus. And screen reader automatically pronounced for us all the content of this element. We didn't do anything. We simply moved a focus, and this is really nice. And not only confirmation text was pronounced, but also the text from all the buttons. So now we can use these notifications and these buttons. And one more thing. It's not only was pronounced, but look, focus now is on the notification. And now in order to jump to the undo button, we simply need to click one time, top key.
Undo button.
And it works. Now we can use that button. Or the next one.
View message button. Close notification button.
And let's say we want to close the notification.
Send email button.
I closing notification, and then I move focus back to the previous element, which is really convenient for the users.
Voiceover off.
And even though the focus technique is even more simple than the live region, there are a couple of things to consider. First of all, not all the elements are focusable by default. Focusable elements are links, buttons, inputs, some more elements, but elements like divs, sections, spans, they are not focusable. And if we want to make them focusable, we need to use tab index with values 0 or positive numbers. Although positive numbers are not recommended to use because they bring some extra complexity to our applications and make a user experience related with a focus order a little bit less predictable. Also, not all the browsers implement focus in the same way, and if you use a focus technique for dealing with a screen reader, I would really recommend it to test your features in the real browsers, and you will see maybe some differences. And that was the theory. So we covered two cases. We learned two things. In order to force screen reader to pronounce something for screen reader users, we use two techniques. First technique is a live region technique, and second technique is a focus technique. And now I will show you a real example when we can use both of them. We will combine these techniques and make one component accessible. And component is a registration form. So our goal now is register to a website, right? I start my screen reader.
Voiceover on Chrome.
And start filling the form. So you can see on the screen there are three elements, excuse me. Email input field, password input field, and also a register button. And now with the tab key, I'll be moving to the first input field.
Email, edit text, me at example.com, application.
And now let's type an email.
M-E-at-M-A-I-L,
And look, I made a mistake here. Instead of period, I typed comma, and let's imagine that I didn't notice that. And what do we usually do? We don't send everything user types immediately to the server. We first like to do some validation, right? And the nice way of doing validation is on the blur event. Look, I click a tab, and my input field will lose a focus, and we'll do a validation.
Not valid email.
Once validation was done and it didn't pass, we first of all displayed a couple of errors, one error actually, and we also colored our input field in a dangerous color. It's a good practice, and also we used the live region technique to update screen reader users with a validation text. And now let's fix this email.
Misspelled. May add a tag misspelled.
And replace period with a comma with a period.
Period.
And now click tab again.
Password. Please use at least one character, one number, one symbol, and keep your password at least 8 characters long.
What happened? We moved focus from input field, from the email input field to a password input field, and we did a validation. Validation passed, and then once a password input field was focused, we informed users, first of all, that this is a password field, and then also we had some text which was pronounced for screen reader users about the rules we need to follow when we're creating password. 1 character, 1 letter, 1 symbol, and 8 characters long. Now I will start typing English letters.
Very weak password. Very weak password.
And what we are doing here, after each keystroke, when the value of input field is changing, we do a validation immediately. And if validation doesn't pass or pass, it doesn't matter. We display to the users results of this validation. We display it visually with a nice diagram and also with a phrase. And also we use live region technique and update screen reader users. Good. Let's continue typing, for example, numbers.
So password.
Password is better, but not that nice yet. Then symbol.
Good password.
And now we need 8 characters.
Good password. Good password. Good password. Great password.
And now all the requirements are passed. Let's click a register button.
Register button. Press register button. There's one validation error. Bullet. This email is already registered. Please try another one.
Once we clicked a register button, browser made a request to the server, and then we got an error back. And this email was already used, and we need to try another one. And what we did, first of all, we displayed visually this validation text just before the form. And then we used a focus technique and moved a focus to the whole notification component, and screen reader automatically, we didn't do anything for that, pronounced all the content from the validation component. And now the thing is also that we placed this validation text before form, not after, and there was a purpose for that. So now we are focused on the element which is placed before the form, and now in order to reach the form with the tab key, we simply need to click tab key 1 time. Look how simple it is.
Me@mail.com.
Very easy. So we made this component not only accessible for screen reader users, but also convenient for them. And now let's type another email.
Me@mail.com. Me selected. Me ANOTHER. Register button. Press register button. You have been successfully registered. Voiceover off.
Once registration was successful, we displayed a notification, visual notification, and also we used live region technique in order to update screen reader users. And that's pretty much it, what I wanted to show you today. Let's cover what we learned today. First of all, informing users is really important. We want our users to feel comfortable on our websites, and we need to make our websites as transparent as possible. There are 2 ways of controlling what screen reader is pronouncing. First way is by using a live region technique with area live, polite, or assertive, for example, or we can use a focus technique, and also screen readers will pronounce what we want. If you want to know more about accessibility, I would recommend you to check out one of the accessibility documentation on the W3.org website called Area Authoring Practices. You'll find a big list of components, and you can check how you can make these components accessible. If you don't know anything about accessibility, but you want to make accessible components, I would really recommend you to start from the book written by Laura Kolbeck, Accessibility for Everyone. in the very simple language, in the simple words, she explained what accessibility is and how it works. And if you read this book, you will know how to make accessible components. If you are already familiar with accessibility and know what it is and how it works, I would recommend you to check a website created by Hayden Pickering. In this website, he created a list of quite complex components, and he not only made them accessible and provided a demo, he also explained how he made them accessible, why he used these techniques or not another techniques, and also following these instructions, you can create the same components. And that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, first of all, I'm gonna go after my talk to downstairs to the discussion room, and if you don't know where it is, probably nobody knows, but I will tell you, it's not next floor down, it's 2 floors down, it's really downstairs. So if you have any questions, just come there and ask, or you can find me on Twitter and write me a direct message. And thank you very much.